today I have something more Kabbalistic from the Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Yadi, the Likutei Torah on our parasha explains the blessing of the Kohanim. And
Good morning.
the blessing starts with Ko tevarchu et bnei Israel emor lahem, which means this is the way that you will bless the Jewish people. Tell them, Adonai says, Yevarechecha, Hashem should bless you and protect you, etc. There is a Talmud that says that the angels complained to God, and they said, our judge, lo yisa panim, he cannot favor any parties because it's not fair. Yet, you favor the Jewish people. How do we know? Because it's written in the blessing of the Kohanim, Isa Hashem panav elecha, that may God direct his countenance, literally, but means he should favor you. So we have a valid claim. What did God answer? Pretty radical answers. How can I not favor the Jewish people? I commanded them on the Torah, ve'achalta v'savato ve'irachta et Hashem Elokecha. You will eat and be satisfied, and only then bless Hashem your God. And the Jewish people say the blessing, the grace after meals, even if they ate something the size of an olive. So, because we show such a devotion to Hashem, he says, okay, I have to show devotion to you and favor you. So, we have to understand, out of all the mitzvot or all the things that we do, why God picked this and said, oh, because they bless me even after eating something the size of an olive, that's why I favor them. Which, by the way, this stresses the importance of bracha charona, of saying the blessings to God after eating, how important it is. But also we have to understand this blessing of the Kohanim, that they seem to be out of order. So first we have to understand why God said, only when you're satisfied, then you should bless me. Why shouldn't we bless God after eating even a small amount, even if you're not fully satisfied? So we have to analyze the wording. It's written, uberachta et, which aleph taf could be understood as you will bless the Hashem, but also aleph taf are the first and last letter of the Jewish alphabet, meaning you will have to bless God from aleph to taf, including all the letters. So, what does this mean? So, to understand this, we have to understand that absolutely everything in the universe is created through the letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Not only their creation, but their constant existence. The fact that they exist this moment is because God is uttering this word, is saying for water to exist, God has to be saying mem, yud, maim, mem, yud, mem, maim, and that's why we have water. Not only said it on this 6 days of creation, but he's saying it every moment. And their energy or existence of every physical thing comes from those letters. Now, the Asara Ma'amarot, the 10 phrases that God used to create the world, have a combination of every single letter, every single word. For instance, you can say, oh, it's nowhere is written Even, rock, but there is an Aleph, there is a Bet, and there is a Nun, and they combine to create the Even. Now, God's creative power comes through speech. Now, he gifted us with a similar power, as is written, Vayipach ve'apav nishmat chaim, that God blew in his nostrils a soul of life. He blew with his mouth and his breath, just like he creates everything. So the letters of the 10 phrases that God used to create the world, which by the way correspond to the 10 commandments, are the ones that give existence to everything. Now, in creation also says, Vayikra Adam Shemot lechol habeima ule'of hashamayim, that the first human, Adam, called names. He gave names to every single animal and every bird, and he named everything basically. So how did you do that? Because when he saw a cow, he didn't just see the physical cow like we do, the leather and the eyes and the horns. He saw a pei, a reish, and a hey. He saw the words in Hebrew that create para, that create the cow, and that's how he was able to name it. He saw the spiritual energy from God that is creating it. So he was able to connect it to its source. And this is the idea of why we are in the world, to take the physical and connect it to the source in God. God took spirit and made it matter. We take that matter and we elevate it back, connected with its source in God. Who does that? Humans only. We are able to take the mineral, the vegetal, and the animal and connect it, elevate it to its source in God. And that's why it's written, Al kol motza pi Hashem yichyeh ha'adam. The Torah says not only by bread, but anything that comes out of the mouth of God will give life to a person, because everything that we eat, all foods, are combinations of letters that God said. So to have Yichyeh Adam, to live, the person will live from anything that God said, means that that energy, those letters, are what give us existence. In the orange that I eat today, the Taf, Pei, Vav, and Zayin that makes the word tapuz in Hebrew, there is a godly energy that will sustain me today and allow me to exist. So in the Kabbalah, they ask, why did God use 10 phrases to create the world? He could have used only one, and there is many answers to that. But the idea is that it has to be diversity. By using more letters, more words, there is more diversity in the world, and we take that and return it to God. And when we say uveirachta et, you will bless, from Aleph to Taf, means, as we explained last night in the class about beracha, which means to draw down energy, and then you bring that revelation into the world from those letters that God used to create the world. And that revelation is the elevation as well, that we complete the cycle and bring it back to God. Now, this sounds easy, but it's very, very difficult. And there is a constant battle against our animal soul. Food we represent it by bread, especially in the Torah, whenever you have to eat, like on Shabbat, on a Brit Milah, on a wedding, you have to eat bread. Why? How do we say bread in Hebrew? Lechem. Lechem comes from the word milchama or lochem, which means milchama is war. Lochem means a warrior, a fighter. Why? Because we're always battling against food. You know, I think is the most common addiction, maybe, if you want to call it eating. Everybody has to eat. And many people struggle with eating healthy, eating the amounts that we need, the foods that we need. It's a battle. It's a constant struggle for many of us. Not to indulge in eating, not let the food control us, but rather we decide how much we eat, when we eat, and what type of food. Now, it's also written, Al pum charva yochal, you will eat bread with your soul, with your sword, and tefillah, also prayer, it's called shat sulota shat karva, the Aramaic, which means the time of prayer is time of battle, krav. As we say the Tehillim every night, Romemot el bigronam becherev fifiot beyadam. The praises of God are in their throats and a double-edged sword in their hands. That we know prayer, it's also time of struggle, battle. Why? Because it's very hard to concentrate on the prayer and not have your mind wander. It's a time when we really, mind has to control the heart and the actions that we really pray. How do we start the Shema Israel? Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha. You will love Hashem, your God, and we pray le'ava et Hashem Elokechem, to love Hashem, your God, and to serve Him with all your hearts. And after that, only we say, Asafta degonecha, you will gather your grain, but first has to be ahava, love. Ahava also expresses ratzon, will. That the person has to desire, want, love with all his heart to bring about a revelation of God in the world. So, what does it mean to bring about a revelation of God? That the world should be like it was when God created. Actually, before even God created. To understand this better, learn today's Tanya, which chapter 4 of Shah explains the idea of Tzimtzum. But before God created the world, it was just God. It was an absolute revelation of God everywhere. And then He had to conceal Himself, and in order to create a world. And what we want now is to bring about the same level of revelation that was before He created this physical world that limits so much the revelation of Hashem, because we know olam milashon elem, world comes from the word concealment. This world is designed to conceal God. Why? So we have a free choice. If we will see God openly everywhere we go, then we will only do His will. And by the way, this is our will, because that's how the world will be when Mashiach comes. That the 7th millennia, which obviously will start way before that, it will be a revelation of God just like before the Tzimtzum happened. Now, we are dealing with a world that is full of concealment, and the idea, Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha, you will love Hashem, your God, that you want Yud Hei Vav Kei, Hashem, to shine in Elokecha. What is Yud Hei Vav Kei? The name that we use for Hashem usually is Haya Ove V'Yeh. He was, he is, he will be, meaning God in an unlimited capacity, no concealment. Elokim, on the other hand, means concealment, limitation, gvura. That's what we say, Bereshit bara Elokim, that God created the world, started concealing himself, and then what we, ve'avta Hashem Elokecha, the love that we have for Hashem is that it should be revealed, that en od milvado, there is nothing outside of Hashem. So we want to remove all the concealment. So we start, every big change has to start with yourself. We start removing the concealment of our own animal soul that hides and covers the revelation of the godly soul, and to bring about in the physical the godly. So how do we do that? Prayer. Prayer, we call it Sulam Mutzav Arza V'Rosho Magia Shamayma. It's a ladder that it's based on earth, on the ground, but its head, the top, reaches all the way to heaven. So you start on a very low level with the morning blessing. What we say, Pokeach Ivrim, that it opens the eyes of the blind. Zokef Kefufim, it straightens the bent, and so on. That the whole idea of prayer is to draw down, to bring godliness into the world, into our souls. And just like we follow these steps from down, from this world to go up, that we have a tremendous love for Hashem and we're willing to sacrifice ourselves, which is the kavanah when we say the Shema Yisrael. So that's how we bring the revelation of Hashem. Because by nature, our soul wants to be one with Hashem. It doesn't want to be in this world. Yet, we have to eat. Why you have to eat? What's the connection? Because if we don't eat without food, our souls will do that. We'll go back to Hashem. So tomorrow, God willing, the second part, we will understand better. Tomorrow morning, also at 9 o'clock, we'll do the second half of this very deep Ma'amar, which explains how by eating right, lechem, which comes from the word bread, lochem, to battle, to fight, to do war with the physical in a way that you don't push it away, but like bread, we incorporate, we make it internalize, we make it part of us, we bring about the revelation of Hashem in the world. So looking forward, tomorrow, 9 a.m., we will finish this Ma'amar, and we will connect it also with the beautiful blessing of the Kohanim. It says, that once we have the name of the God on the Jewish people, God blesses us. Have a blessed day. So tomorrow, 9 a.m., we'll continue tonight. 8 p.m., we'll also have a class. Yom Tov.